IntellectualRadio.com/iHeart radio station. The Guinean Community Association of Illinois and Iowa, the acronym is GCAII. Flag will be raising, is having an event, a flag raising event is coming up in October to celebrate the 64th year of independence of Guinea. Please give a drive at five. Welcome back to President Umar Telly Dilalo. Correct? Did I say it correctly?
Yes, you did.
Okay. Last time I butchered it. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, absolutely, you did.
Welcome back to the drive.
Thank you, Roman.
So
Thanks for
please,
having me.
so please give intellectualradio.com/iHeart radio station an update since the last time you were on the drive.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you for having me. It's a great honor and a privilege to be here. So, when was the last time I've been here? Was it in 2015 or
It was at
2017?
the old studio.
It was at the old studio.
Yeah.
Yes, that was probably when I just got elected. Because I remember I got elected in 2015. I did 2 terms. Then we had a second president, Alsu Jallo, who was elected during COVID time in 2020. Then I took it over. So basically, like right now, we're in current transition for 6 months. So pretty much like took it over as the president. What have we accomplished? A lot. We have accomplished a lot, and still going. And as you know, it comes with the property, like nonprofit organizations. There's always challenges, and I guess I'm gonna start with the COVID, how it's affected our community and how it affected like many African communities in the Chicagoland area, in Illinois, and in Iowa. So, like within our community, we have probably four, five people that have passed away. It helped,
That was on your board, correct?
yes.
Okay.
Not serving on the board, but like within our community, within the
Okay.
Guinean community here.
Gotcha.
Um,
Here in Illinois.
in Illinois.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes, here in Illinois. And of course, like, we had people around the world, like over 1 million people. But yeah, but here in Illinois. Other than that, we have done so many activities. We've done activities with the Rainbow Push coalitions. We have like a yearly barbecue that we do within the community to celebrate like different like Eid celebrations that we do with a youth. We also had event also with the youth as well, like different activities like to kind of a gathering like sports activity where the youth could play and get to know each other. We also had like different fundraising events, like inviting different African communities. We also like work with different other associations and organizations that are based here in Chicago. And actually, one of the things that we're working on is to have a an African office here in Chicago within the mayor's office. Like, I mean, it's an existent. Like, for instance, if you take New York or
Is it
Washington, D.C.,
non-existence
it's
or
non-existent. There's no African office within the mayor's office here in Chicago, and this is
and why you think it should be an African office in the mayor's office?
because like there were so many African communities in Chicago. Like you could name any countries in Africa here, and they're either they have associations or organizations in Chicago. Like, can you just imagine how many African fest throughout the summer that are happening in Chicago? You have the Ghana Fest, you have the Nigerian Fest. I mean, within Nigerian Fest, you have the Igbo Fest. And you have all these small festivals and African associations that are here and that are part of the communities. And definitely, there's something that we've been advocating for. I mean, like leaders of different associations have, like, we had several meetings. I mean, Dr. Awer and some other like leaders within the African communities, Olivier Kamanzi with the Global Africa Chambers of Commerce in Chicago, and others, right? And most of these politicians, like when it's times for elections, they will come and meet with different African leaders.
But when it's not, they will not meet with you.
Exactly, right.
Do you think that the African community in Chicago or
Hmm.
Illinois period
Sure.
are not represented in the city level or the state level?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, like, even the African American communities, they're not really represented if you, like, I mean, within the leadership within the states or the city of Chicago. I mean, of course, we have a mayor, I mean, which is nice. She's African American. But, like, again, as I mentioned earlier, for instance, in Washington D.C., there is a African office within the mayor's office, right? In New York, there's always one, but not in Chicago.
In California, there's one.
Okay. I wasn't sure, but I mean, if you say if there is one, yes, there is one, but in Chicago, there's none. So again, we've done that to go back to the questions about our associations or organizations. What we've done, we also achieve a 501c3. We've been recognized by the state of Illinois. Uh, we are non-for-profit organizations that are recognized by the federal government. I mean, we have done several activities, and again, the challenges is always like raising funds for our community, and we also partner with different schools within the city of Chicago. You know, advocating for some of the students within our community to kind of like attend some of those schools, and actually we even work together with uh,
The Urban League.
the urban leagues, right? But the neighbor the what's the neighborhood again, the housing project that we worked on, remember you
Yes.
told us about?
Yes, the Austin
The
community.
Austin community,
Yes.
exactly, yes.
So you
Some
worked with some of the people in the Austin
a
community.
community,
So
yes.
basically, what you're saying, I'll let the cat out the bag. You use my referrals.
Absolutely. Yes, yes.
Thank you. When you and back in the
Right.
day.
We visited like several, because what we wanted to do, we wanted to buy a facility, either for a community center, like, for our organizations. But, like, unfortunately, we didn't get one, but at least we get to work with the Austin community, so which was great.
Right.
So, yeah, definitely the referral helped a lot.
No, no problem. No problem at all. Tell us about the 64th annual Guinea independence and its importance to the Guinean community here in Chicago.
Chicago. Thank you. So we started it back in 2015, and as I said, I was elected in 2015. 2015 was our first year, and we have been doing it ever since. And what we usually do, um, like we have performers, like local performers, either from Africa or either from Chicago, and we also have speakers. Like we invite the mayor's office, we invite the governor's office, the Cook County office, and again, all of them like would come and speak. And of course, like we invite different African associations, the president of different African associations, to come and help celebrate with us the independence of Guinea. And for the past 2 years, we've been having it inside because it always rain, and hopefully the weather's gonna be nice on Monday, October 3rd, and hopefully we'll have it like outside just like we did the first and the second year celebrating it. But yeah, we'll have maybe um, snacks and drink, for the people that would attend the event. Again, it's just a 1 hour event. It's like exactly from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. It's a free event that the city of Chicago's offer to different communities here in the Chicagoland area at the Delhi Center. So it's going to be on October 3rd, on Monday, from 12 to 1 p.m. I'm not sure about
There's no after event.
no, there's no after event. I mean, for this year, no, we didn't. But like in the past, I would say maybe probably 2 or 3 years ago, we had independence celebrations at restaurant. But like, everything it's kind of like getting back together because of what happened, the COVID pandemic. Like, there were no activities and whatsoever. So again, we just getting things back to normal and like, starting our different activities that we're doing.
The Guinean flag, what the flag represents in the Guinean community and its culture. We had this discussion, but we
Yeah.
never talked about
Uh-huh.
the colors of the flag, what it represents, and for to the Guinean community,
Right.
for the Guinean community and its culture. So can you?
Yes, absolutely. So, like, the reds represent like the blood, right? That those people that have lost their lives fighting for the independence of Guinea, and the yellow, it's the richness of the land, and the green is the agriculture, pretty much. Like, the yellow represents not only the different part of culture that the country has and offers, and also like and as you know, Guinea is probably one of the number one when it comes to like bauxite, natural resources, and and yeah, and green is the agriculture, how green the land or the country is. So that's what it represents. What does it represent for? I mean, most African countries were colonized, right? Either by the French or the British, and Guinea were colonized by France, and like in 1958, that's when the country became independent and said no. Back then, um, the French president had different referendum with all the French colonies like in Africa, like who wanted to become independent and who wanted to be part of the colony. Like if you want to become independent, you vote no, and if you want to be part of the colony, you vote yes. And some actually fights for freedom got really deadly. For instance, in Algeria, where you had the Algerian War, different other countries, it was not as deadly. Guinea says no to that referendum in 1958. That was held on September 28th, and then on October 2nd, it became independent. Now, keep in mind, one of the things that we want to do actually this year is to recognize those people that have fight for freedom, right? I mean, and what's so sad about the country Guinea, um, like so many people have died when it comes to democracy for their country. Like, I mean, it's been ever since independence. Again, like there, there, like underdeveloped countries, right, in Africa. But like the uniqueness is Guinea is the issues with the different ethnic uh, issues, like if you will, different that have been some of the leaders that have used they go against one another, like just for political gain or for political power, and then because of that, like there have so many people, like if you look at from 1958 to 1984 when the first president, like so many people, like from some research and studies, people are saying like 50,000 people have died just like from the first president. And then if you look at the second president, until he died, like 23 years in power. I mean, thousands and thousands of people have died. Like and if you look at the right after that, there was a coup. Uh, he came over, took the power by coup, and in 2009, like people got killed in a stadium, like people got raped and killed. um, and then after that, elections happened in 2010, like someone was elected. and he became president. And then from that time, from 2010 until 2021, March September 5th, like there was another coup. Like looking at probably like 500 people died. So just like for
That
political
was
violence,
underreported, right?
I mean, it is some of it are reported, some of it are not. Again, as I mentioned earlier, like
Just like the inflation in Africa is being underreported, and the flooding situation we're talking about. And I don't want people to what's going on in Puerto Rico with the hurricane situation.
mhm,
I understand that. That's broadcast all throughout.
right.
However, Africa, and I think in your homeland, has been under serious flooding situations, and nobody is not reporting on that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just like Africa. Like, Africa is always underreported, right? It depends on, like, if you look at like major headlines news, probably if a news outlet happened in Africa, it's either written at the bottom or it's like 2 or like 10 seconds, and then like there's something else, right? And currently you have, for instance, like not only the flooding in just, major countries in Africa, yes, but right now you have a in Somalia, for instance, like where people like the drought in Somalia is underreported. Nobody's talking about it. There is currently a drought in Somalia. So yes, and to answer your questions, and for instance, like with the climate change, currently there have been flooding around the world, like everywhere around the world there have been flooding. But Guinea, for instance, like it's a country known for for its greenery. It rains a lot. I mean, some places have been flooded and some others have not. But yeah, um, yeah, it's not been reported properly when it comes to
So, briefly describe
mhm.
the Guinea Pride regarding the 64th annual event.
Yeah, absolutely. So we gotta have like different type of culture that we be represented. Like women from our community would be wearing different gowns representing different cultures. Like we have the Fulani cultures, we have the Mandingos culture, we have the Susu culture. Like there are so many. And there's some of the snacks actually that we would have. Like it would be homemade, like it's cultural. Kuti, we call it kuti, and then like some of the natural ginger drinks that we make.
And you didn't
Um,
bring some here?
you come on October 10th at the flag raising event, and you'll definitely have some. We'll make sure that you have some.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and we'll be more than happy to have you, and we'll be more than happy to have all different associations and organizations here in Chicago, and definitely we're looking forward to have all African American leaders here in the Chicagoland area. All African associations leaders are invited as well. So
Okay, so please give intellectualradio.com/iHeartRadio station where they can get in contact with you and where the event is located
uh-huh.
and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
so the event is going to be at the Delhi Center. It's 50 West Washington. Again, as I said, this is not an African time, okay? Because we know African time. If we say it's 12 p.m., people would show up at 2 p.m.
I didn't say that, folks. He did.
I
Good.
did. I
Uh,
did. I
okay.
know. So please be on time. We ask you to show up at 12 p.m. The event is exactly from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. And it's gonna be at the Delhi Center. It's 50 West Washington. Like there would be parking available all over. Just park and make sure you feed the meter before you come into the plaza. And actually, my phone number is 773-552-7106. And right now, the website is under constructions. And before I let go, I want to give a shout out to the executive bureau that I work with, like our former president, Ansu Jallo, and all people that have been really working and helping the Guinean community associations of Illinois and Iowa. And Roman, thank you for having me.
No problem. Anytime, brother.
Thank you.
Okay, that's
And
going to
thank you,
do it
sir.
for us on the Drive at 5 on the intellectualradio.com/iHeart radio station. Thanks to Earl Winfrey, our executive producer, wonder who's behind the scenes. You guys have a wonderful week.